Yeah, we understand that the Prime Minister will resign today. Look, I spoke to a Cabinet Minister this morning who had seen the Prime Minister, had a long conversation with him yesterday and said to the Prime Minister, the game is up. You simply do not have the numbers to fill posts in your government. The country will be ungovernable. You cannot carry on. He tried to hold on last night. You saw the reports on the news. But as we understand it this morning, let me just get the statement up from on my phone, that Boris Johnson, we understand, has spoken to the Tory party chair or committee chair, 22 chair, Graham Brady, and agreed to stand down. So we're going to expect a resignation from Boris Johnson later today. It's over for him. He tried until the very end to hold on. But when you're faced with over 50 government resignations, half a dozen of your cabinet walking out and finding yourself unable to fill even cabinet positions with ministers unwilling to be promoted, with parliamentarians unwilling to serve, that's when your government collapses. The game is up for Boris Johnson. He's going to have to stand down.
OK, Beth, so what happens now? Unprecedented times, the helicopters are already up, the street has gone absolutely bonkers. What happens now?
Well, what we will expect to happen now is the Prime Minister will be in there this morning. He will be with his advisers. He will be drafting a resignation statement and we'll expect to hear from him later. That will then, of course, trigger a leadership race within the Conservative Party. And I think what is difficult about this one compared to the moment that Theresa May resigned in 2019 was back in 2019, there was a clear successor to Theresa May. It was Boris Johnson, and he went on to win that leadership race in a runoff against Jeremy Hunt. But this time, the field is wide open. Politicians are not ousting Boris Johnson because of a policy disagreement, as they did over May regarding Brexit, and they don't really have a plan of what comes next or who they would like to be leader. They are literally ousting him because they cannot serve under him, and it's just got too bad being in a Boris Johnson cabinet, government and even parliamentary party. And so what will happen now is he will resign and then there will be a leadership contest. And in the coming days, we will see all the runners and riders coming out to make their pitch to the parliamentary party. We've already had overnight Suella Braverman. She's the Attorney General, the most senior legal mind in government. She has announced overnight that she would like to run. We've got Rishi Sunak, we've got Sajid Javid, we've got Tom Tugendhat, the chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee, who is perhaps the favoured choice of the One Nation group of Conservatives in the party. What about Brandon Lewis, the Northern Ireland Secretary that just resigned, Nadeem Zahawi, Penny Mordaunt? I have got such a long list of would-be runners and riders, and then we're going to have a competition to see who takes the job, but it comes at such a difficult time for the country, given the cost of living crisis and the difficulties that households up and down the land are having. And I've just got an official number 10 statement just out. The Prime Minister will make a statement to the country today. So Boris Johnson will make a statement today. It is over for him. He won the biggest majority, didn't he, back in 2019 of any Conservative Prime Minister since Margaret Thatcher. He was potentially a two-term Prime Minister, but after 2.5 years, his reign has come to an end and Boris Johnson is standing down as Conservative Party leader and Prime Minister.
Well, it's a moment in history again, Beth, isn't it? You've witnessed so many for us already as our political editor. When do you think we will hear from him? When will he make that statement and in what capacity? Do we know yet?
I don't know yet, Kay. What I do know is, as I've said, there is now an official statement saying that Boris Johnson will make a statement to the country later. And as I was saying earlier, he has spoken to Sir Graham Brady, who went to see him yesterday, the chair of the 22 backbench committee, and agreed to stand down as a party leader so a new leader can be in place by party conference. So that is in October. At the end of September into October, a new party leader in place for the autumn. Sorry, He will remain Prime Minister until that point. So I've just been told by a number 10 figure, the Prime Minister is now agreeing to an orderly handover of power. So instead of fighting on, he's now agreed to resign. He's told Graham Brady of his intentions, and he will remain Prime Minister over the summer while that leadership race is played out, and they hope to have a new Prime Minister and Conservative Party leader by the autumn. So the summer recess is going to be taken up by a lot of campaigning by would-be new Prime Ministers and Conservative Party leaders. It is such an incredible moment. We could see, really, as I was saying a couple of days ago, that his time was up when those resignations happened in Cabinet. That was perhaps the moment. And then the snowballing effect over the 12 hours following, when dozens of government resignations began to fall in, and Cabinet members then went, didn't they, yesterday in a delegation to tell Boris Johnson he had to go. But even last night, number 10 were briefing of his defiance, telling me that he was going to call Sir Graham Brady's bluff, that he was going to force a confidence vote in him. Well, overnight, and as dawn broke and more people resigned, Brandon Lewis standing down as Northern Ireland Secretary, and then Nadeem Zahawi telling the Prime Minister that he had to go. And then we had Michelle Donnellan, also the Education Secretary, the game up for Boris Johnson. However hard he fought, however much he wanted it, it was simply not tenable for him to continue.